I know it's not exactly like my cousin Vinny, but jury selection on TV is one thing, and we've kind of watched that process. Those of us who have served on juries have seen the real process, but there's some things you can share with us tonight for folks who may not know of some of the things that go into the process of selecting a jury if a case goes that far. What can you tell us?
That's exactly right. You may see on TV how it's done in Hollywood, but when you get in the real world, it's more of jury deselection than jury selection.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't go into a courtroom and say, I want these 12 jurors, and so if y'all would get in the box, that would be wonderful.
That'd be simple, but it doesn't work that way.
Exactly. So it's really a deselection process, and here in Alabama, it's called different things around the country, but we call it voir dire. And that's a technical legal word for it, but that's you may hear that thrown around, but that's just jury selection. And a couple things that go along with that. One thing is a dismissal for cause, and that is when one of the attorneys is able to get one of the potential jurors to say something that show that they are biased or prejudiced.
Yeah.
Such as they may be related to one of the parties, they may be related to one of the attorneys, or they may just stand up and say, because of some belief they have or issue, they cannot side with one side or the other, regardless of what the evidence in the law is. So that's a dismissal for cause. You also have something called a peremptory challenge, and that is something that both sides get a certain amount, and the judge will set that. And that is potential jurors that you do not want on the jury. And so each side gets to strike certain ones. Now, you cannot strike jurors based on sex or race.
Right.
You can't do that, but you can, you identify people that you think may not be helpful to your client, and you can strike those. And then the group that's left, that's your jury.
And if I recall correctly, you don't even have to say why you're striking them. You just say, juror number 14, I'd like to strike him. And unless there's some obvious, wait a minute, why'd you strike him? It's just accept it.
Exactly. And usually the way it works is you get a sheet. The attorneys get a sheet, and you just write down the juror numbers, and you call the ones out that you do not want, and that gets it down to those that will actually serve.